Yep.
So sum everything up for us. Kind of give us a summary of what you've touched on, the high points that you touched on in our conversation, and really the what you want to pass on to the folks listening, on how they can deal with failure or perceive failure in their entrepreneurial careers.
Yeah, I would just say, lay out your goals, your big ones, and then work backwards to smaller goals, to smaller goals, to smaller goals, to smaller goals. And really, those smaller goals really instantly morph into activities. And so you break that down into what activity do you think you need to do as soon as you hang up from this Skype meeting or this podcast? What activity do you need to do immediately that puts you one step closer towards your goal that you put down at the end? And so defining success as the little thing I do next, which I know culminates in the next bigger thing, which culminates in the next bigger thing, is good because at each step along the way, you don't have to wait 3 years to find out if you're really going to be a successful business, because you'll know tomorrow morning if you had a good day today. And so
Yeah,
by making sure that today was good and tomorrow was good and the next day was good, well, then translates into the week being good. And if the week is good and the week is good and the week is good and the week is good, well, then the month was good. And if the month was good and the month was good and the month was good, the quarter was good, then the year was good, and then 3 years later, it was good. Now, if any one of those fail, the month was bad. Well, now you only have to look at the previous weeks. Now you only have to look at the previous activities and to see what got you there. And you'll know. It's easy to find out. I could do with anything. With customer service, you can deconstruct the entire process and you can know where it went wrong. You gave a bad estimate. Your delivery team didn't really execute to the quality that they should. And so then you can go back in and deconstruct small wins that get you to basically correct the ship. And so fail fast, fail often. You want to do that quickly. You want to always afford yourself enough room in your plan to get your goals that so as an example, if you believe it takes 10 phone calls to get one meeting, and then you lay out in your plan that it takes 2 meetings a day to get to your monthly sales goal, well, obviously don't just plan 20 calls a day, because if you fail on getting the 2 meetings and 20 calls, well, you planned it too tight. You should do 30 calls. So that way you have one in the bank.
yeah,
And the same thing goes, if you find out that 2 meetings a day is planning it perfectly to get it, well, then maybe you should be hustling for 3 meetings a day. And it's not rocket science when you start breaking it down. And almost every entrepreneur I know, that if you literally ask them the question of saying, what could you have done differently? They almost always know. And then you say, what activities led up to you doing it incorrectly? They almost always know. And so the question is, for all the entrepreneurs, do they have the intestinal fortitude to stop working for a moment and actually deconstruct their goals down to a reasonable plan, down to some daily activities and weekly activities that they can control? And then can they be honest enough to ask themselves after whatever that period is, a day, a week, a month, and say, did I follow my plan? Because if the answer is no, then it comes down to you either believe your plan is flawed and you need to update the plan, or B, if the answer is no, it means that you literally wrote out the playbook for success and were unable to follow it because you somehow put something else in front of it.
yeah. And then the question is, what happens then?
And then what happens then? Well, and that's the beauty about small successes, is that you internalize them and move on, to basically making the next day better. Like I
Yeah,
said, going back to what Grandpa said, it's not one success or failure that makes or breaks you.
yeah. You got to move on. That's the big message. You got to move on. Yep. If you're
Yep.
going to be an entrepreneur, it's kind of you're gonna fall on your face. You're going to screw it up every once in a while. You got to move on. So, well,
Yeah.
thanks so much, Nick, and I look forward to having you on again from Company X in your folding chairs. So, I hope you
Yeah.
have a great day.
Take care, man.
Bye.
See ya.